Hey guys, what it do? Today we're gonna be reacting to the problem with Megumi in Jujutsu Kaisen. Let's hear what my boy has to say.
Megumi's character in Jujutsu Kaisen is so much more important than we think. I mean, at the start of the series, I thought he would just be another Sasuke type that we are used to seeing.
That's interesting. Okay, first statement here. I don't want to say I have a problem with it, but he said, you know, Megumi is probably more important than we think. I thought he was just gonna be another Sasuke type. Sasuke is the second most important character in Naruto. Without Sasuke, they can't defeat Kaguya. Without Sasuke, they lose no matter what. Without Sasuke, Naruto gets caught in Infinite Tsukuyomi and the show is over. So, yeah. Sasuke is kind of important. Crucial to the story, and it's also a major part of the plot narrative of Naruto. Since Naruto believes he can't even save his friend, how can he be trusted to protect the whole village? But I'm gonna let you finish.
But funnily enough, Akutami has managed to put their own emo twist to Megumi. Unlike your typical Sasuke's, Megumi is a character that we can sort of relate to, and his upbringing clearly shows why he seems so cold. But character-wise, I have no problem with him at all.
We can relate to Sasuke. And Sasuke's upbringing is worse than Megumi's, so yes, there's a difference between Megumi and Sasuke, and the difference is mainly that Megumi doesn't change sides, isn't willing to change sides, just because of what happened to him, and also, you know, different type of traumas, etc., etc. He also didn't see the death of his family a bazillion times over in his head. I think it's kind of unfair to compare the two. They're kind of different characters. Yes, they're both a bit more brooding, a bit more dark, you know. But I think Megumi is a bit more out there than Sasuke is in the first place. I think he's a bit more willing than Sasuke is to talk to people and da-da-da-da-da-da. And he cares, and he doesn't think him caring for the people he cares about is a weakness, while Sasuke did. So I don't know. I don't. We can relate to Sasuke. I hope that's not what he meant, but it sounded like he meant we can't relate to Sasuke. We can 100. Imagine your whole family line, your mama, your cousin, your auntie, your murder, bro. Come on, bro. I don't know, bro. I'm trying to revenge the world, bro. That's not. Maybe I can relate. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm just one of those dweebs. You know what I'm saying? Well, let's go.
My problem with Megumi from the very beginning of the series was the amount of mystery surrounding himself and what role he may play in the endgame of Jujutsu Kaisen. But before we unravel the flaws and secrets around Megumi, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new and hit the notification bell to stay updated when this uploads. This video will contain spoilers from the manga. Megumi from an early age showed signs of his cold-heartedness even whilst under the care of his sister Sumiki. He calculates and assesses each situation before diving head first, but what catches me off guard is how suicidal he is.
Another difference as well is, you know, child Megumi was already kind of born from a spot where he was parentless, pretty much. You know, and he got sold to the Zenin clan, basically, and then, you know, Gojo adopted him type thing. So he didn't really get to have family in the same way Sasuke has, except apart from his sister. And we've seen already that his sister is the breaking point for him, and he was more than willing to kill and do what he needs to do for the sake of his sister. And he's willing to do similar things for the sake of Yuji Itadori. So, you know, there's differences, but it's a more complex kind of differences in terms of, you know, what happened to them, more so than a slightly emo difference. You know what I mean? But that's, you know, maybe I'm picking at hairs.
It was mentioned plenty of times how Megumi would be willing to play the role as the sacrificial lamb in order to protect those around him. But in this video we'll be discussing the role of Megumi in Jujutsu Kaisen, as well as what his future could look like towards the end of the series. Plus, on top of that, what really bothers me is Sukuna's obsession with him, which I want to briefly talk about. So anyways, without further ado, let's get straight in.
Alright. Let's hear what my boy got to say.
From the very beginning, when Gojo had first met a Kid Megumi in chapter 78 of the manga, regardless of Gojo's presence, a Kid Megumi stared him dead in the face as though he was already lifeless. With that said, Gojo proceeds to mention how Megumi is his father's trump card, mainly due to him possessing the 10 Shadows technique. This curse technique is known to be a rarity within the Zenin clan. But anywho, Megumi's problem begins when Gojo is about to tell him that he killed his father, to which Megumi interrupts and states, "I don't care where he is or what he's doing. I haven't seen him in years. I don't even remember what he looks like." This obviously reveals to us how Toji neglected his kids for his own gain, or should I say his own problems, keeping in mind that Sumiki is Megumi's stepsister and we don't really know what happened to Megumi's biological mother. Of course, after this, Megumi would be raised within Jujutsu High and under the guidance of Gojo. But from such an early age, from the way he spoke and acted, I guess you could say he was always suicidal. Not caring of the dangers which may come to be in the Jujutsu world, he was happy enough to sacrifice his own childhood.
I think his suicidal tendencies is an interesting thing. I think it's because he doesn't see the importance of his own mortality the same way that he sees like the importance of the people he cares about mortality. So he's one of those people that values other people's lives, especially the people he cares about's lives, more than he values his own life. So I think that's what makes him an interesting character.
So that Sumiki could be protected. This then takes us to his first appearance in the series, being much more mature than he was when Gojo had first met him, but displaying that he was still willing to die in order to achieve his goal. For example, when Megumi and Yuji were in danger against the large cursed spirit, every moment of Megumi seemed like it would be his last, by pulling out a super move to save the life of a stranger he had just met. Then fast forward to the detention center, he was planning to do the same against Sukuna. That's when Gojo decided to break down why Megumi falls behind the likes of himself and Yuji, due to Megumi always thinking of his own sacrifice, rather than wanting to survive, or as Gojo would say, hit a home run. Gojo's words would ring in his head during the death painting arc, finally revealing to us a glimpse of why Sukuna is so obsessed with him, being the first out of Gojo's 3 students to activate his very own domain expansion. Although it was premature, it was insane what he was able to achieve against a special grade cursed spirit, by combining his 10 Shadows technique, intelligence and usage of the domain to give himself the victory. The Shibuya incident arc displayed Megumi going above and beyond, teaming up with Yuji to defeat Asakusa, then being the main reason as to why Naobito, Maki and Nanami were able to escape Dagon's domain, and finally truly showing us his greatest super weapon, and that was Mahoraga. But the problem with Megumi isn't only because of his locked off potential, but the odd obsession Sukuna has with him. I know there have been countless theories saying how Megumi is the key to finding Sukuna's true form, but I think there's more to it. Only until the Shibuya incident arc did Sukuna find out about Mahoraga, so I know for sure that Mahoraga is out of the question as to what Sukuna seeks from Megumi.
I think with Megumi, this is just my own headcanon I suppose, with Megumi I think the interesting thing about Megumi with when it comes to him and goddamn the evil spirit, bro. Why forget? I would just play the video. Sukuna, there you go. So Sukuna, I don't know what, but it just slipped my mind. But Sukuna, I think the interest with Sukuna and Megumi was the 10 Shadows technique, which is known to be able to defeat a 6-eye. And of course that's before you even knew about Mahoraga or whatever. Like, but I think what potentially Sukuna might be interested in is the vessel, the body. I think he would have preferred a body like Megumi's rather than Yuji Itadori's. Also, I think it's how Megumi is as a person. I think somebody else talked about this before. I think that's where I got it from. I don't think this is an original idea. But I think I agree with him. I think that Sukuna sees himself in Megumi. Do you know what I'm saying? The recklessness, the way he does stuff. I think Sukuna would also like Hakari, just because Hakari is just, man, we love Hakari over here. But I think that's potentially it. I think it could be something more complex. I think it probably is, especially since he discovered what else Megumi can do. But I think before that, I think it was just kind of that. I think he wanted him to be a follower for him. You know what I'm saying? The same way he got the angel lady, or the lady, the lady, what's the ice lady, sorry, as one of his followers from way back in the days. I think he would like Megumi to be a part of his team type shit, because I think he feels like Megumi might have the same attitude. But then again, this is completely headcanon, but I can completely understand why nobody's certain here, because I mean the author hasn't really given us that much to go off of, you know what I'm saying?
With how Megumi has been developing in the Culling game so far, already defeating countless of participants including Reggie, we're slowly beginning to understand Gojo's statement about the next generation that will surpass him. But with that said, there's still so much to see from Megumi. Finally, after a while, we're witnessing a totally new version of him, not being afraid to hit a home run now, and even threatening those with death. I mean, he's already killed quite a few people since the Culling games began. This represents that he truly is the son of Toji. So what does the future of Megumis look like? The notion of death surrounding Megumi has been apparent from the very beginning of the series. The endgame of Jujutsu Kaisen could be centered around Megumi, Yuji, Gojo and Sukuna. If that becomes the case, then this would be the perfect opportunity for Megumi to finally play the sacrificial lamb. But who knows how the fate of Megumi could turn out. It could actually be the opposite, where the person who seeks death survives the entire ordeal. But anyways, Megumi's character will for sure carry on to play a huge role in the series. I'm just extremely curious as to the purpose Sukuna will use him for. But what do you guys think? What sort of flaws have you all noticed from Megumi? And what could be the outcome of his character? Be sure to let me know down in the comment section below. As always, like this video and subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you all in the next one.
I think I misinterpreted what he meant by the problem with Megumi. I thought he meant like the problem with his like him as like him whether being a good character or bad character. Initially, before I watched the video, that's kind of why I wanted to react to it. But it turns out it's not. It's mainly like him as a person and how he's very suicidal in a way. I think the sacrificial lamb thing is possible. I think he'd definitely be willing to sacrifice himself in order to save Yuji Itadori for certain, or he would sacrifice himself to save Gojo. I think he's definitely that type of person. That would be a good send-off for him. I would like him to survive because I feel like, you know, he already lost his dad, he's, you know, all of that stuff, and his mom, and da-da-da-da-da-da. And I think Yuji Itadori being the sacrificial lamb and dying in front of friends, I think, you know, or with people coming to his funeral, I think is the bigger story. So I feel like Yuji Itadori will be the one to die instead of Megumi. I think maybe Megumi will try to sacrifice himself, but I think Yuji will get in the way. Because I think Yuji's arc ends better with his death than I think Megumi's does. I think Megumi's arc ends with him maybe realizing that he has to value his life in order to protect more people. And I think that's what I would say. So I wouldn't really necessarily. I know that it does a lot of death. You know what you call it? Goddamn. Not predictions, but like a lot of like things when it got regards to his character to do with death and him, you know, always under ready to fucking go. But I think that Yuji Itadori's character fits that better only because of the conversation with his granddad and the fact that he already reserved himself to die from the start, you know what I'm saying? But he just doesn't wanna, you know, die alone type shit. And I think that's artistic, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, been your boys Premature to God. What you guys think of his video and my reaction? Comment down below. Do you agree with us? Disagree with us? Agree with me? Disagree with him? Agree with him? Disagree with me? Leave your thoughts and comments down below and subscribe and check him out. His name is definitely Aizen, and I'm out.